John Miller, who's theoretically a reporter for 60 Minutes, did a story that could only be characterized as a puff piece last night on 60 Minutes about the NSA. Now, he said in the story, well, look, you know, the critics have had a lot of shots at the NSA. But what we haven't heard enough about is the NSA's position. First of all, that's a ridiculous thing to say. The NSA is part of the United States government. They've had congressional hearing after congressional hearing. The congressional hearings have been named things like the NSA gives its position about the dangerous Edward Snowden and his horrible leaks. I'm only slightly exaggerating, really not by much. Of course they've had their say, but here's a former, vanguard of journalism, 60 Minutes, just handing over about 15 minutes of airtime to the NSA on this ridiculous piece. John Miller, at least in the beginning, acknowledges that he is a former intelligence official. I'll tell you a little bit later how he's going to be a future intelligence official as well. But in the revolving door of journalism, in between intelligence jobs, he decided to do this puff piece. And as we show you just a small example of it, pay attention towards the end about how he's leading the witness. He's doing the puff piece already, but he isn't getting exactly the right answers he wants, so he tries to help General Keith Alexander, who's the head of the NSA, by saying, well, now look, I mean, you didn't do anything bad, did you? Watch.
Full disclosure, I once worked in the office of the Director of National Intelligence, where I saw firsthand how secretly the NSA operates. There is a perception out there that the NSA is widely collecting the content of the phone calls of Americans. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
So you understand then, there might be a little confusion among Americans who read in the newspaper that the NSA has vacuumed up the records of the telephone calls of every man, woman, and child in the United States for a period of years. That sounds like spying on Americans.
Right, and that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. There's no.
You don't hear the calls.
You don't hear the call.
You don't see the name.
You don't see the names.
You just see this number called that number.
This number, the to from number, the duration of the call, and the date time group. That's all you get.
I mean, you don't hear the call, right? You don't see the names. Oh, come on. How much harm could this be doing? And then he goes and he has an agent explain how they're going to get the terrorists, and he shows it on a computer. It must be true. It's only aimed at the terrorists. Thank God 60 Minutes did critical reporting there. And by the way, how many opposing viewpoints did they have in this particular report opposed to the NSA? Zero. Nothing. Goose egg. Just the NSA's opinion. As he said in the beginning of the report, well, I mean, the critics have had their day already. No. We're back to Pravda here. So now the government gets their say on 60 Minutes. Now, I'm not alone in this. All manner of journalists were enraged by this. Of course, Glenn Greenwald was not happy about it. He's the one that broke the Snowden story in the first place. With his usual sharp jibes, he says, that's 60 Minutes access for uncritical reverence. NSA propaganda piece was a new low for U.S. journalism. He also said, 60 Minutes forgot to ask about how James Clapper and Keith Alexander routinely lied to Congress and FISA courts. Just ran out of time. I'm sure that's what the case was. And then he wasn't alone, though. Here comes the others. Dave Itzkoff writes, NSA doing a great job. NSA says, 60 Minutes. Reminds me of a certain USA Today headline. Ryan Lizza says, wow, the 60 Minutes piece about the NSA was just embarrassing. Kudos to the NSA communications staff. You guys should get a raise. Jeff Jarvis says, for shame, 60 Minutes, for shame. Jeff Jarvis also wrote, CBS just bragged that John Miller is the ultimate insider. Yes, he just demonstrated that. They brag about that now. Isn't that amazing? That used to be like a bad thing. Now it's like, ha-ha, we're the ultimate insiders. We help the government in every way that we can. That's what in fact, Pravda didn't even brag about it. They were embarrassed by that. Now our guys are celebrated, our mainstream media. Here's Carney Ross. Hadn't realized 60 Minutes now does infomercials. Another one from Ross. 60 Minutes, where the hell is Lowell Bergman when you need him? Oh yes, he quit at the end of the movie. Jay Rosen writes in, a great media critic from NYU. This 60 Minutes report on the NSA is TV. That's not a compliment. And here is Christmas Jordan. I like that handle. Remember when 60 Minutes was where people looked for quality journalism? Yeah, unfortunately, we hardly remember it. And finally, Andy Greenberg writes in, this 60 Minutes episode has been pretty good information for the NSA so far. Did anyone catch the 1-800 number so I can order? Okay, that's all awesome. Now, you want to know more about John Miller, the guy who did this piece? Well, according to the New York Post, which of course has a good insight into conservative circles, that's the News Corp newspaper in New York, Miller is expected to land a top intelligence or counterterrorism role with Bratton, the new NYPD commissioner. Huh, interesting. Well, they have an anonymous source that says, as of this minute, it's a 99.44% done deal. Now, I love the accuracy of that percentage. Okay, so here's a guy who, by the way, has worked at ABC, CBS, and NBC at different times in his career, and then has worked under Bratton before with the NYPD, then under Bratton with the LAPD, then he's worked with the FBI and counterterrorism officials. All these different things just keeps revolving. And on CBS, what was he doing? His job was to come and do analysis of intelligence officials, where he would almost always say, and I'm being kind by saying almost, oh, well, the intelligence officials tell me that this is really important intelligence that we're collecting on terrorists. I can't believe anybody would reveal it. And for 60 Minutes to give this guy almost 15 minutes to do this hatchet job on Snowden, on the people who care about our privacy, the people who care about our Constitution, is egregious and outrageous. Do you know that, and I love this is also from the New York Post, Miller launched the Automated Critical Asset Management System, a terror target risk assessment program that's now used by several other states. He launched a terror target risk assessment program. You think he's going to be against another terror target risk assessment program? To put this guy on as a journalist is a joke. By 2005, Miller had left the LAPD for a job with the FBI and officer of the Director of National Intelligence. How do you like that for a revolving door between journalism and the government? They're not even pretending anymore. And then finally, in 2011, CBS lured him back to television. And this is how it works. Come on television, you tell us how great the government is, then you go back inside the government, come back on TV, and round you go. This isn't journalism, man. This is the exact opposite.